Tonight on KGW News, neighbors step in to try and stop ICE from making arrests.
It was jarring to see it in my own neighborhood.
If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE.
Plus, the message from a local school district after their custodian is arrested for allegedly possessing images of child sexual abuse. Then,
we picketed, we wrote letters, we made noise, lots of noise.
seniors celebrate after they fought to save their apartment building and keep it affordable. And later,
I think they're all so fun and whimsical.
meet the Portland man whose daily art is brightening up the neighborhood.
So it can't be gloom and doom all the time. You know, there has to be some hope.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We begin at 11 with what seems to be an increase in immigration enforcement in Portland, with the possibility of a National Guard deployment still hanging over the Rose City. Here's a look at the protest tonight outside the South Portland ICE facility, where we saw a lot of dancing, even some roller skating, but no interactions with federal agents, at least not while we were there. This comes as the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals is still trying to decide if the president can deploy troops to respond to these protests, but a ruling today in Chicago could play a role. That's because the Seventh Circuit agreed with a federal judge that the facts on the ground there do not constitute a rebellion, and so they will let the restraining order stand. Oregon now citing that ruling, by the way, in its own case. And then there is this. New local videos have surfaced that appear to show federal agents taking people into custody, with, in one case, drivers pushing back by using their vehicles to box in the agents. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. But first to Alma McCarty at the ICE building on the South Waterfront, because Alma, we're also learning that immigration groups are now taking new legal action against federal agencies over access to detainees.
Yeah, David, that is correct. First, to a look at things on the ground tonight. Obviously, you hear music in the background. There was dancing earlier, and I can say that it has been really as calm as it's been this week. So really, yeah, just a calm scene out here. But this lawsuit, it alleges that on many occasions, detainees inside of this ICE facility were unable to reach their attorneys after they were picked up by ICE and at times whisked away to another facility before even getting a chance to speak to a lawyer.
So I think, as all Oregonians know, Trump has made Portland a target in terms of threats to deploy the National Guard. And this week we've seen increased ICE activity significantly.
In response, Innovation Law Lab filed a lawsuit Thursday arguing that ICE and Customs and Border Protection have been denying people detained by the agencies meaningful access to counsel before an out-of-state transfer.
We have these laws in place to make sure that people are treated fairly, no matter where they were born and what they look like. And so our suit today seeks to help establish a small piece of that, just even with the right to talk to an attorney.
As legal director Jordan Cunnings explains, even as attorneys respond as quickly as possible, they're met with obstacles.
The problem is ICE is unlawfully denying people an opportunity to access a thorough consultation with that attorney when they're held at the temporary holding facilities in Portland, McAdam, or in Eugene.
The lawsuit describing several cases where immigration attorneys can't speak with their detained clients or wait hours in the lobby only to have their client taken out the back door and transferred to the ICE facility in Tacoma or elsewhere. While access has been a problem in the past, Cunnings believes it's only getting worse.
I think, just like many immigration policies under the Trump administration, it's now being amped up to sort of the maximum degree of cruelty and unlawfulness. And as we see the increase in sweeps and unlawful arrests and masked men whisking people off the street, the access becomes all the more important.
As for next steps, attorneys want the court to pause the transfers out of state, ensuring due process.
And in terms of what that could look like, that could come in the form of an order. It could come at a hearing. We do not know at this time. And of course, we reached out to ICE, to DHS, to Customs and Border Protection to get a comment on the lawsuit, but we have not yet heard back. David, back to you.
Yeah, glad to hear things are peaceful, relatively, and festive, I guess, tonight. Thanks, Alma. Appreciate it. Well, now to videos surfacing on social media, apparently showing federal ICE agents making arrests. The first was on Tuesday along Nadeau Parkway in Northwest Portland. Gina Gladstone started filming when she noticed multiple cars and agents surrounding a vehicle.
It didn't look like The Portland police, they had the tactical vests. One said DHS, maybe federal police. It was jarring to see it in my own neighborhood, and I felt like it needed to be documented.
Well, less than 2 hours later, another incident with video showing drivers who tried to box in federal agents in Hillsborough. Kylie Delgado took this video. She said she got an alert from a community group warning that agents were outside a nearby apartment, so she went to check it out.
If you have a car, please pull behind them. It's ICE.
When I pulled up, they refused to identify themselves. And then once they did, they said that they were Hillsborough Police Department, but didn't have proper identification.
She adds federal agents said they had a warrant but refused to show it. Hillsborough police say their officers were not involved. In an update, a Portland mother who was detained at the Canadian border is still in custody, even though her deportation case seems to be over. That is according to Congresswoman Maxine Dexter. Lawyers say Jackie Merlos was having a picnic with relatives at Peace Arch Park in June when Customs and Border Protection accused her of attempting to, quote, smuggle illegal aliens into the U.S. Her children were later released to a family friend, while her husband was later deported to Honduras. Dexter says the judge acknowledged there is no legal basis for Merlos to be detained or deported and is calling for her immediate release. Well, meanwhile, another person has been arrested accused of pointing a laser at a Customs and Border Protection helicopter. Federal prosecutors say 38-year-old Brian Capileo Napile painted the chopper with a green laser earlier this month, forcing it to abort its landing. The FBI tracked him down to a home in Aloha in a search. They say they found a laser as well as more than 100 grams of meth and evidence of drug trafficking. There have been frequent reports of helicopters patrolling the South Portland area since late September, and this is at least the second time the CPB helicopter has been hit with a laser. Well, we'll keep a close eye on new developments on ICE operations in Portland and the legal battles that continue to play out. Look for updates anytime at KGW.com, on our mobile app, and our free TV app, KGW+. All right, let's take a live look outside on this Thursday night, Friday Eve, as we like to say, as those cool autumn nights continue, though change is now in the forecast. Chief Meteorologist Matt Safino's here and tracking it all. Hey there, Matt.
Hey, David. Yeah, we got a couple of good days before we get into wetter and cooler weather, but it's a little bit warmer tonight, too, because we've got some cloud cover out there. Temperatures 53 in Vancouver right now at our camera at the Springs at the waterfront, so it's looking pretty good. Now, Doppler radar showing a few showers reaching the coast of Washington. This is a very weak system. I doubt any of this rain will make it east of the coast range. So while we'll have cloud cover, that'll keep our temperatures elevated overnight. I doubt we get any rain from this system, but there is rain in the forecast as we go into the latter part of the weekend. Our time lapse, a little bit of green sky there. It was kind of cool to see. To the south of Mount Hood, looking west from our camera in the Dalles on the Oregon Veterans Home. You see the clouds, though, are thickening and just cruising in from the north and west. Hey, a little bit later on, talk about this. The remains of what was Typhoon Halong just devastated western Alaska. Over 1,500 people forced to leave their homes, at least one fatality with that. So big story up in the 49th state. Cloudy, not as cold overnight tonight because of the cloud cover that we have. Warm, dry days ahead through Saturday. And then on Sunday, we get the rain. It'll turn to showers and maybe thunderstorms in the afternoon. That's not the only stormy weather we have to talk about, though, David. More on that in a bit.
Oh, here it comes. Thanks, Matt. To get you caught up on tonight's other headlines now, a Camas High School custodian is on paid leave tonight, accused of possessing images of child sex abuse. The district says a custodian was arrested but would not confirm his name, but a man named Jordan Palomino, which matches the name of a custodian on the Camas High School's website, made his first court appearance today. He's being charged with a single count of possessing depictions of minors engaged in sexually explicit conduct. The state says he admitted to making the purchases, but claimed he didn't view them. Palomino's bail is set at $25,000. The school district says he will not be allowed to access to the buildings while on leave. In Longview, police say 11 kids and teens have been charged with vandalizing a school and a golf course. These are photos of the damage at Mint Valley Golf Course in June. Police say 4 teens, ages 15 and 16, caused tens of thousands of dollars in damage. They're accused of stealing at least 9 golf carts and taking them on joy rides. Authorities allege the same 4 teens, along with 7 other kids as young as 12, broke into Mint Valley Elementary the night before, damaging computers, discharging fire extinguishers, and stealing food. And authorities believe they have found the body of a missing West Lynn woman. The Curry County Sheriff's Office in Southern Oregon says a hunter found Judith Roberts' vehicle at the end of a heavily wooded road. Search and rescue teams then scoured the area and found remains they believe to be Roberts', though the medical examiner will have to confirm the 81-year-old was reported missing in May, with police saying she may have been experiencing some cognitive issues. In Washington County, a low-income housing complex is getting a long-awaited revamp. The Woodspring Apartments in Tigard will undergo renovations to modernize its 172 units. The project will include new roofs, siding, windows, and appliances, as well as making units more accessible and energy efficient. The county stepped in to buy the property in 2023 after its low-income housing agreement expired, and critically, after residents rallied, lobbying the building owners, the county, and the state for help.
This purchase enables me and many others like me to remain living independently in a safe and desirable environment that we can afford.
Renovations are expected to be finished by December of next year. Nice to have a little good news story there.